The ultimate choice was always going to be made above Michael and Julia and myself, but we would gather together in Jerry's dressing room prior to the Christmas break. So we were halfway through the season. And he would say, how are you guys feeling? What do you think? More? And we would go, yeah, absolutely. Um, we got to season 9, and we started it with a feeling that it was likely to be the last one, but let's see. And we got to the Christmas break, and we all kind of went, I think it's done. So I imagine, I couldn't say for sure, I imagine if we had had that meeting and the three of us went, no, we want to keep going, I would imagine Jerry would have kept going. But we all had the feeling that there was a couple things going on, to be quite honest. One was the integrity of the show itself, and that was really, I think, the motivating factor for most of us, was we had gotten to a point where we knew we could keep making funny episodes. There was no, the writers were brilliant, and they would keep coming up with great stuff. There was no question. But we couldn't imagine a scenario where we could surprise the audience anymore with these characters. What would they do in any given situation? We kind of know. If that isn't a really good indication of when you're about to jump the shark, I can't think of a better one. So rather than go beyond that point, we thought, let's go out on top. Let's leave them wanting more. That's what every performer or comic looks for. So that was the biggest motivator. But also that little bit of discontent among the ranks. I'll even give you a little bit more. Because Julia, Michael, and I are not partners in the syndication of the show, in which there was an enormous amount of profit to be made, we could no longer root for the longevity of the show because we knew, historically, you play an iconic character on a TV series, your career may be done. So we were going to have to spend an awful lot of time and energy getting the next gig if we were ever going to work again. And since Seinfeld wasn't going to be the annuity for us that it was going to be for Jerry and Larry and a couple of the other partners, continuing to make more of them was a self-defeating prophecy. We were going to contribute to our own eventual demise as actors. We would have set ourselves up even better as, having enough money to live off the rest of our lives. Financially, we could have done fine. But we were all still relatively young, and we wanted to do other things with our careers, and this thing was going to stop us dead, and we weren't going to profit from it. So we kind of went, it's enough. We've done it. We've made a healthy living off it. And the show is at its natural endpoint. So let's add all those factors together, and let's put it to bed with dignity, and while the people still love it. The emotions of finishing, I don't think, struck us for a long time until after we were done. But there was so much energy around the wind down. Everyone was, the media was all over about, what was the last episode going to be, and it was a media frenzy, and there was a lot of energy and excitement about it. We knew Larry was coming back to do the final episode. We were all very excited about that. I can't tell you, I can't tell you if Julia and Michael or even Jerry went into the last episode going, this is great, this is everything we wanted. I can tell you that for me, I thought it was a good episode, not a great episode as written. I thought it was a good idea, but I loved it for a reason that had nothing to do with what it was about. I loved it because we were not a sentimental group. But Larry found an organic way. There were so many people that came through that show over those 9 years that maybe were only there for one episode, but they made huge differences in our lives. The Soup Nazi was huge. The Low Talker was huge. The Man Hands was huge. Sue Ellen Mishke was huge. Terry Hatcher's character. They all added to our baby, and then they went away. And we never really got to say thank you, and we never really got to be with them. And Larry found a way to bring them all back. Everybody that had been a meaningful part of our success, even if they had done it in one episode, was back to be with us at the end. That was great. That was a really... So the atmosphere all week long was joyous and sentimental in a way that it had never been. And I will not get emotional. Jerry did something at the finale that was extraordinary. We used to do a thing before every taping. Stupid. We'd be behind the set, and they introduce you to the audience, which is, like we need to be introduced. But so before we would come running out as individuals, the four of us would be behind the set, and we would do this thing called the Circle of Power, which was so stupid. But we basically just hold hands and go, "Argh!" That's all it was. It was nothing. We didn't say good luck. We didn't say, you nervous about anything? It was just stupid. But it was tradition, so we did it every show. So now we're at the finale, and it's the last live taping, and there's all this energy going on, and it's the four of us back there, and we get into the handhold, and Jerry goes, I want to say something. Okay. Now, we had been through a lot at this point. It had been, in some ways, again, not on the set, but off the set, a little bit of a bumpy time. He said, for the rest of our lives, when anyone thinks of one of us, they will think of all four of us. And I can't think of three people I'd rather have that be true of. I'm gone. Julia's gone. Michael's like, and now they go, the cast of... We come running out, and we must look like we got hit by a truck, because that was a huge thing. First of all, it was true. And it was true in our hearts. And we had been through a rough year, and that was a big gesture on his part. And it was very meaningful. So it was a special time.